Hi, my name is Charlie. I'm the first speaker of our team, Aurelia, and we are grateful for this opportunity to speak about important economic issues in our current society. The rest of my teammates are Tahi Jung, the second speaker, and Minju Kim, the third. With that, I am very proud to start off our presentation. My time starts in 3, 2, 1. COVID-19 is bringing many to the table, not only health concerns, but also in the matters of the economy as well. The COVID-19 recession, caused by the main lockdowns, known as the Great Shutdown, has negatively affected not only people's lifestyle, but also their consumption habits. In the case of a recession, there is an urgent need for the members of the society, which is the government, individuals, and companies, to put effort to overcome it. To begin, I would like to talk about the recession and its impacts. First, a recession is a business cycle contraction when there is a general decline in economic activity. It generally occurs when there is a widespread drop in spending, company strikes, and more. Although the recession is known to be an economic tragedy, sometimes it brings positive effects. It can be an opportunity for people to collaborate to find a solution. For example, during the IMF, people collected gold to aid our country's economy. But then, what are some negative effects of an economic recession? We can differentiate these impacts by three stakeholders, which are individuals, businesses, and society. First, unemployment. When a recession occurs, there is a sudden spike in unemployment. It is because people's spending decreases and the companies cut down their supply. In these cases, companies lay off workers to reduce the cost of production. As such, the unemployment rate will increase. The impact of this is less consumption and more saving because people are unsure about their future. As people lose trust in the economy, they will spend less and it will shrink the economy. Second, as a domino effect, companies will reduce production. Productivity tends to fall in the early stages of a recession, as I have explained before, and then rises again as weaker firms close. The fall in productivity could also be attributed to several macroeconomic factors, such as the loss in productivity. Global epidemics, such as COVID-19, could be another example, since they disrupt the global supply chain or prevent movement of goods, services, and people. Finally, about greater impacts on society. The living standards of those who rely on welfare benefits get greater impact than salary earners. The loss of a job is known to harm the stability of families, individuals' health, and well-being. Fixed income benefits receive small cuts which make it tougher to survive. For the government to provide these, they need taxes from the citizens. However, as I mentioned before, the citizens are not able to afford to pay them. To conclude my speech, I'll explain the definition of a recession and its impacts on three stakeholders: individual, company, and society. Now, I would like to invite my next speaker, Tahi, to talk about what measures these stakeholders can bring to solve a recession.
Thank you. So now, as the second speaker, I'd like to present to you how the government and an individual can contribute in ending the recession. Firstly, the government mainly takes two measures, such as a change in interest rate policies and government intervention. An example of an interest rate policy is an expansionary policy. The federal government uses the expansionary policy to increase the money supply and reduce interest rates. With lower interest rates, it's cheaper to borrow money and more banks are willing to lend it. Attractive interest rates encourage businesses to borrow money to expand production and encourage consumers to buy more goods and services. This helps the economy escape a recession. There's also a fiscal policy. A fiscal policy relies on the government's spending and taxation. They're used to reduce or increase the total supply of money in the economy. In the recession, the government increases spending and reduces taxes. This encourages businesses to invest and consumers to buy more goods and services. This reduces spending by businesses and consumers, so prices come down and inflation eases. Another example of government policy was the New Deal, which took place during the Great Depression by the US government. The New Deal was vital in ending the Great Depression, and it used a series of large-scale relief programs and reforms. The fiscal policy was one of the smaller policies that were included in the New Deal. It also advocated government spending as a key economic driver, boosting consumer demand. Secondly, What can an individual do to resolve a recession? There are many activities that an individual can do in order to do so. One of the more well-known ways is by spending money. Spending during a recession rather spurs the economy in many cases. The reason why people save during a recession is because they lack the confidence in the economy. This confidence needs to be installed again so that the people will be more interested in spending and investing. How do we do that? The government could provide low interest rates to encourage people to take in loans and spend for personal purposes or for their businesses. This creates an incentive for people to make choices that ensure companies have more capital to conduct businesses. So spending spurs the economy to generate more income for more individuals. If people spend less, businesses do not make profits. They make job losses or higher their prices, which results in families having to give up their disposable cash. Also, keeping money in the bank would only make it stagnant. If the people are only saving during a recession, the economy would plummet from the lack of capital flow and the money in the banks would not be used at all. The created situation would be worse for every member of society if they are not working together for recovery. Consumer spending makes up 70% of GDP, and if people aren't spending, then economic activity and GDP will fall, creating a vicious cycle. Thus, the actions of the government and an individual can be taken to relieve a recession. Measures that the government can take will be expansionary policy, fiscal policy, and the New Deal. I also explained that an individual can do their part in ending the recession and boosting the economy by spending. Now, I would like to invite the last and final speaker, Minju. Thank you.
Lastly, I will talk about the measures that companies can bring during the recession. The companies produce goods and services to consumers and improve the living standard of our society. They do not simply stay in their present roles, but develop through unremitting efforts. However, during the economic recession, it is difficult for them to complete their roles, which are production and investment. The first way to reinvigorate the crumbling economy is to do restructuring, which is a strategy to change the business structure in a way that has potential for development or to invest on projects with comparative advantages. Current rapid changes in the environment may determine the success or failure of companies, so they need to constantly adjust their business structure in consideration of environmental changes. Restructuring refers to the thorough modification of the long-established corporate structure that is used to mean coordinating structure or rebuilding the business. This method is a drastic change in the intentional and planned selection of the contents of the business in order to reduce the crisis consciousness. This not only allows the company to have a future-oriented and competitive business structure, but it also correctly distributes the limited sources of them. Therefore, restructuring is necessary when it is deemed difficult to guarantee the future with current strategies or existing industries considering customer needs and reduce consumption. Connection with COVID-19, companies should have a critical mind of what they can produce to survive in the future when people's consumption rate goes down and implement plans for it. To make an arrangement, the matter of restructuring does not directly solve the economic recession, but it can prevent much worse problems from happening. The second way is to do more technology research and make qualified products. Since consumers' preferences can always change, producing only one item can lower corporate income and the possibility of winning in competitions. Therefore, what companies need to do is invest in new product research and strive to make better quality products. The company that completes all of these conditions is called venture business, which is a company established by operators with cutting-edge technologies and ideas for new businesses that are confident of high expected returns and no one has started. The company currently in the highest position in this matter is the company Apple, created by Steve Jobs. The reason why the founder of Apple, Steve Jobs, is called the myth of venture is that he always pursues new things and paves the market. If a company like Apple becomes such a global spotlight, it will increase the satisfaction of many people and increase the company's income at the same time, contributing to the boost of the economy. The economy recession is a winter blown to the economy. Just as animals hibernate and wait for the spring to come, the economy community also develops and grows through a process like hibernation. The process is not a one-man force, but a combination of the government, businesses, and individuals to overcome the winter snowstorm. As we are in a difficult situation due to COVID-19 and the recession caused by it, let us all work together to overcome it. Thank you for listening to our presentation.